You are tuned in to the 13th episode of the Give Me the Points podcast. I am your host, Soup. On this episode, we will recap our Week 9 NFL plays along with the college football plays, and we will look into what's ahead for Week 10 and the top 25 matchups for the week. I'm riding solo, so Tyler, this one's for you.
We fight our country's battles in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor free. We are proud to claim the title of United States Army. Our flags unfurled to every breeze, from dawn to setting sun. We have fought in every clime and place where we could take a gun. In the snow of far-off northern lands and in sunny tropic seas, you will find us always on the job, the United States Army.
All right. For those of you that don't know, it is November 11th, which is Veterans Day. This is a veteran-ran podcast. We are part of the Punch List family, who Dale from Punch List MMA is also a veteran. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of our current military personnel and for all of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. The day prior, November 10th, was Marine Corps birthday. That is something that Tyler and I take a lot of pride in. And I just wanted to play that, which for those of you that don't know is the Marine Corps hymn. So that's how we're going to start off the episode. As far as NFL news goes, it seems like we have started the episode talking about the Rams a lot. And another addition for them. They added Odell Beckham Jr. today, a 1-year deal. That offense, crazy. So Deshaun Jackson left there because he wasn't getting enough targets, but he's worse than Van Jefferson. Odell is not. That Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Odell Beckham, Tyler Higbee, Darrell Henderson, Sony Michel, Matt Stafford. Stupid good offense. Absolutely stupid good offense. So that's going to be very interesting. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. They look like garbage this past week. Stafford had some really bad turnovers, and that actually cost us. So to recap what we had last week, let me pull this up here real quick. We had 2 college plays. I know one of them was 2 units on Michigan State minus 2.5 against Purdue. Purdue has more wins against top 5 teams as an unranked team than any team in college football history. And I got sucked into it. We got trapped there. They ended up beating Michigan State by 11, 40-29. So we lost 2 units on that. And then we had the over 49.5 in the Texas A&M Auburn game. A&M held Auburn to 3 points. So that didn't hit. That was a unit loss. So we took a 3-unit loss on college football on Saturday. But we had a 2-unit hitter in the Maction, the Battle of I-75, Toledo versus Bowling Green. We took the over 49.5, and Toledo almost covered it by themselves. They won the game 49-17. Now, as far as the NFL goes, we had the following plays. We took the under 49.5 in the Cowboys and Broncos game. That game was sitting. We expected the Cowboys defense to be the reason, but it wasn't. It was the Broncos defense. They beat the Cowboys 30-16. So that under hit. That was a 2-unit play. We had Atlanta plus 6.5 against the Saints. They won that game outright, 27-25. That was a 2-unit play. We had the Chargers minus 2 against the Eagles. They won on a field goal as time expired. That was a 3-unit play. We had the over 45.5 in the Cardinals San Fran game. We expected San Fran's offense to pick it up. They did not. The Cardinals came out with Colt McCoy and James Conner and the skeleton squad, and they won that game 31-17 to hit that over. And now for our losses, we had the over in the New England game, 40.5, 24-6. New England's defense completely shut down Carolina. Carolina's offense is fucking terrible. Sam Darnold out multiple weeks now. They signed Cam Newton today. They brought him back, so that'll be interesting. He'll be battling with PJ Walker for that starting job. That was a 2-unit loss. We had the Bills minus 14 against the Jaguars. They lost outright 9-6. That was a 3-unit loss. And then our 2-team money line parlay, Rams, Steelers money line. Steelers obviously won the game 29-27, but the Rams threw up a stinker and lost to the Titans 28-16. That was a 5-unit loser. But we saved it. You got to follow us on Instagram, man. We posted the player prop parlay or player prop for the Monday night game. We took Justin Fields for a coming out party. We took Fields over 249.5 passing yards at plus 550. The kid got it done. He hit 297. We had 10 yards at the end of the first quarter. I was worried, but the game script, the expectation there was Chicago was going to be behind and they were going to have to throw the ball, and that's exactly what happened. And he torched them in the second half. 220 yards in the second half, I think. So that was a 5.5 unit winner. So we came out of one of the craziest NFL weekends as far as upsets go. We came out of the weekend plus 1 unit on the NFL, and I am super satisfied with that. I'm sorry, plus 4 units on the NFL, plus 1 unit on the week, and then we hit the 2-unit play on the Battle of I-75. So it was a 3-unit week on football. So that was a good week, especially after that parlay lost. So I'm not upset about that at all. We got a lot going on this week. There's 4 top 25 college matchups. So we're going to hop into college first, and here we go. All right, we got Oklahoma at Baylor. Baylor 6.5 point home dog, over under at 62.5. I'm not going to overthink this here. I think that Oklahoma having a week off. I like Oklahoma to win this game by at least a touchdown. I'm going to say they win it by 2 touchdowns. I think the over-under is pretty spot on. Baylor's defense has been pretty good, but this Oklahoma offense is good. And Oklahoma's defense has been pretty good this year for the most part. So I'm going to say, I don't know, I think they're going to win this game like 35-21, something like that. So in the mid-50s. But I think they cover the 6.5. I definitely think that they're going to win by probably 2 touchdowns. So we're going to go 2 units on Oklahoma minus 6.5 at Baylor. Next game, you got Purdue at Ohio State. Ohio State a 21.5 point favorite at home, over under again at 62.5. I think it's a lot of points. It's a lot of points for a Purdue team that's been playing pretty well this year. Granted, they did play Michigan State, who does not have a pass offense like Ohio State, but we've also seen Ohio State struggle and let teams stay in the game. I think over 3 touchdowns is too much. We're going to go 1 unit on Purdue plus 21.5 here. Next game, Texas A&M again at Ole Miss. Ole Miss plus 2.5 as the home dog, over under at 56.5. I like the over 56.5 here. So we're going again and over in an A&M game, but this is different. This isn't Auburn. This is Ole Miss. This is the electric offense, the defense that can't stop a nosebleed. A&M's offense has been pretty good, actually. In the last 4 weeks, they've scored 140 points. So what's that, 35? Yeah, 35 points a game in the last 4 weeks. Headed into an Ole Miss defense that is not very good, and Ole Miss is going to get theirs. So I think this game is going to get into the 60s. So we're going to go over 56.5 for 1 unit here. And then our final top 25 matchup here is NC State at Wake Forest, one of the most fun teams to watch in all of college football. Wake Forest -1.5 is the home favorite, over under at 66.5. This is going to be a 2-unit play on the over 66.5. Wake Forest is going to get theirs. I mean, they're going to rack up 600 yards. That's just what they do. They're going to get theirs. NC State's defense is not, I mean, it's good, but it's not incredible. And Wake's just going to do Wake. Wake's going to get theirs on the offensive side of the ball, but at the same point in time, they don't play defense. We're talking a Wake Forest team that let up 56 to Army. And so Army, they let up 56 points to Army. We're talking Army that scored 14 against Air Force last week, that scored 14 against Wisconsin, that scored 16 against Ball State, and scored 23 against Miami of Ohio. Army scored 56 on Wake's defense. NC State has a legit passing game, and they're going to exploit Wake Forest. I think we're in for another shootout in a really fun Wake Forest game, just like their last game against North Carolina was a 58-55. I don't know if we're going to get into the hundreds, but I definitely think we're going to get into the 70s here. So this is going to be a 2-unit play on the over 66.5 in the Wake Forest NC State game. I know that was quick. I rattled through there. It's not a we tonight. I rattled through those top 25 matchups. Again, I'm going to go through them real quick. Oklahoma -6.5 at Baylor, 2 units. Purdue at Ohio State +21.5. A&M versus Ole Miss over 56.5, 1 unit. And then 2 units on the Wake versus NC State over 66.5. So that's 6 units on college football this weekend. Now we've got a lot going on in the NFL. There's a lot of question marks as well as far as who's going to play and what's going to happen. First game we're going to cover, Jaguars at Colts. Colts -10.5 at home, over under 47.5. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to take the Jaguars beating the Bills into the equation here because I think that was an absolute fluke. So we're going to buy the half point, and we're going to take the Colts -10. It's a 3-unit play. This year, the Colts going up against bad teams have handled business. They've gotten it done. They did it last week against the Jets when they beat the Jets 45-30. They beat the Texans 31-3. They beat the banged up 49ers 30-18. And then they beat the Dolphins 27-17. So when they've played, an inferior team, they have handled business and they've covered points. And I think the Jaguars are not the worst. The Texans are the worst team that they've played this year, but the Jaguars are the second worst team that they've played this year. So if they can do that against the Jets, if they can do that against the 49ers, if they can do that against the Dolphins, I don't see a problem here covering 10 points against the Jaguars. Back down to earth, Urban Meyer. Congrats on the win, your second win of the year. That's great, but it's not going to happen again this week. The Colts are going to cover the spread, and they're going to cover it with ease. All right. Browns at Patriots. Patriots -1.5 is the home favorite. Over under at 45. A lot of question marks as far as the running backs go in this game. Damian Harris, concussion. Ramondre Stevenson, concussion. Kareem Hunt, still on the IR. Nick Chubb, COVID protocol. Demetric Felton, COVID protocol. So it looks like we might be having Dearness Johnson versus Brandon Bolden and J.J. Taylor against 2 teams that really like to run the ball. So this will be interesting. It might force Mac Jones and Baker Mayfield to throw the ball, which I don't think bodes well for either team, which is why I would side with the Browns here, because I do think that Baker Mayfield's a more polished passer than Mac Jones at this point. Mac Jones has been impressive. I'm a New England fan. I like what I've seen so far, but I've got to take Baker and his defense and his offensive weapons and what Dearness Johnson showed us against the Broncos versus Brandon Bolden and Mac Jones and Nelson Aguilar and whatever else the Patriots want to throw out there in offense. I want to parlay this, actually. I want to do an underdog parlay, money line. So we're gonna have a parlay piece with this. So just remember Browns money line. That's going to be in a parlay. Okay, man, will you just calm down? Goodness gracious. Okay. Falcons at Cowboys. Cowboys -9, over under 54.5. I really don't want to make a play on this game. I don't know. I mean, I'd probably side with the over because I think the boys' offense gets back to it, and I don't think the Falcons' defense is very good. I don't know, but 9 points is a lot, but it is in Dallas. All right, I'd lean the Cowboys -9. We'll go with that. Lean on the Cowboys -9. All right. Bills at Jets. Jets +12.5. Over under 48. Mike White is starting. The Bills have to right this, man. They've got to get back to it. And I'm just going to bet them. I'm just going to bet them because I just think that they are so much better of a team. And we're talking about the Jets, who have gotten mollywopped by New England twice this year. It's a division game. This really means a lot for the Bills because New England's right on their tail. I think that they get their heads out of their ass. I think they bounce back from the Jacksonville game. And I'm going to take the Bills -12.5 for 2 units here. All right. Saints at Titans. Titans -2.5, over under 44.5. Yeah, Tennessee, man, getting it done. Even without Derrick Henry, getting it done. They looked good against the Rams. The defense looked motivated and inspired, and Mike Vrabel had these guys playing. In the last 4 weeks, the Titans have beat the Bills, they beat the Colts, they beat the Rams, they beat the Chiefs, and the Saints are running Trevor Siemian out there, and Alvin Kamara might not go. So, yes, you can argue that the Titans without Derrick Henry, that's a problem. But I think the Saints missing Alvin Kamara is a much bigger problem because then you're relying on Trevor Siemian and Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill actually has weapons and is a better quarterback than Trevor Siemian here. Yes, the Saints defense is very good, and Marshawn Lattimore should be able to, I don't want to say shut down A.J. Brown, but he will match up against A.J. Brown. But if Kamara can't go, which he hasn't practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and it's been said by multiple beat reporters that if he doesn't get any action on Friday, there's a very small chance that he goes. The Saints tried out 3 or 4 running backs this week. So I think this little knee injury is it might be a little bit more serious than we're being told. So I'm gonna go with the Titans -2.5 here at home with the thought that Alvin Kamara is not going to be able to go, and they're going to have to rely on the passing game. And I just don't think that they have the firepower to beat this Tennessee team, who is on an absolute heater right now. So we're going to go 3 units on the Titans -2.5. Bucks at Redskins, football team, whatever you want to call them. They are a 9.5 point home dog, over under at 51.5. I've got no play here. I would assume Tampa covers the spread, but it is on the road, and the over-under, I would probably side with the over, but I just don't really like this game too much, so we're just going to take a lean here, and we'll say we're going to lean Tampa -9.5. All right, interesting game here. Lions at Steelers. Steelers -8.5 at home, over-under at 42.5. Steelers over-unders consistently low, and I'm going to consistently keep betting they're over. So I like the over 42.5. I think the Steelers offense is doing enough. I think they're going to put up some points on the Lions. And this is Mike Tomlin's good for one a year, where you just butcher the game that you're supposed to win easily. It looked like it was going to be the Bears last week, but they pulled it out. So why not the following week? I think the Lions are going to keep this game competitive. I really do. So I'm going to say 2 units on the over 42.5 here and hope that the Lions can put up some points on that Steelers defense that Justin Fields was able to expose in the second half. All right. This will be a good game. This is one of the games I'm looking forward to the most here. We got the Vikings at the Chargers. Chargers -3, over under at 53. The Vikings have proved that they cannot close out close games, and the Chargers, on the other hand, have done the opposite. They've been able to close out close games, as you saw last week with the Eagles. I think I'd lean the under here, to be honest. Both defenses have been half decent, and I don't know. I think it'd be a good game. I think it'd be competitive. I think the line's right about right. I think that the Chargers getting the 3 at home makes sense because in a neutral site, I'd probably have this game at a pick 'em. So I'd probably just lean the under 53 here. Panthers at Cardinals. Cardinals -10, over under at 44. The Panthers are a disaster right now. The Cardinals, we don't know if Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins are going to be able to go, although they just blew out the 49ers. I'm not sold that they're going to be able to cover 10 points, even against this terrible Panthers offense, which is why I'm going to take the team total for the Panthers here. We're going to go Panthers under 17 points. And I'm going to pull up the Cardinals stats here real quick as far as what they've led up this year. All right, we're loading up here. There we go. Okay. So far this year, let's see. We're going back. They let up 13 to the Titans. They let up the 33 to the Vikings. And then 17 to the Jags, 20 to the Rams. And then here it goes. 10 to the 49ers, 14 to the Browns, 5 to the Texans, 24 to the Packers, 17 to the 49ers. So they've only let up more than 17 points twice this year. I'm sorry, 3 times. The Vikings, the Rams, and the Packers. And the Rams was only 20 and the Packers was only 24. Carolina's averaging 9.5 points per game over their last 3 games. And now they're without Sam Darnold. And I just don't think that Cam Newton coming in off the streets or PJ Walker is going to be able to put up 17 on the Cardinals defense. It's been pretty impressive. So we're going to take the under 17 points for the Carolina Panthers. That's a 2-unit play. Seahawks at Packers. Packers minus 3.5, over under 49.5. The return of Russ, the return of Aaron Rodgers. This is going to be a great game. Super excited to watch it. Hope Russ comes out and just torches. Hope Aaron Rodgers is able to go, which I think he'll clear COVID protocol, the whole unvaccinated stat thing, and saying he was immunized. I don't know, and his fiance who eats clay going to his defense. Just a weird situation, man. Just a weird situation. I'd probably lean the over 49.5 here, just based off the 2 quarterbacks and healthy offenses. And Seattle's defense has not been anything to write home about when they've had to play talented offenses, not offensives. Eagles at Broncos. Broncos minus 2.5 is the home favorite, over under 45.5. This is where the Cleveland money line parlay comes in. Hey, when Dad's away, the kids get to play. Tyler's not here, so I'm going to throw some frisky things out there. I like Cleveland and Philadelphia money line parlay. Those are 2 dogs, 1.5 point dog and a 2.5 point dog. That is Cleveland, Philadelphia money line parlay, 1.5 units. That's a plus 400 play. That's 1.5 to win 6. I think that the Eagles are better than their record shows, and they showed it again last week. They're running Jordan Howard. They're finally running the ball. It takes getting rid of Miles Sanders, a very talented back, for them to realize that, hey, we should run the ball and not let Jalen Hurts throw it 30 times a game. And I think that they're going to get the job done against this Broncos team. I think the Broncos were inspired last week after Von Miller leaving, but I think they're going to come back down. And we're going to come back down from that high, and I think the Eagles win this game outright. So that's the Cleveland Browns, Philadelphia Eagles, moneyline dog parlay at 1.5 units to win 6. All right. Chiefs, Raiders. Chiefs at the Raiders. Raiders plus 2.5, over under 52.5. Patrick Mahomes got back to not turning the ball over. Did they look great? No, but the Packers defense played really well. They did beat them 13-7. Jordan Love looked awful, but I like the Chiefs here. I like the Chiefs. God, we're going to bet the fucking Chiefs. Chiefs minus 2.5 against the Raiders here. I'm thinking about it. Okay. Yeah. 2 units on the Chiefs minus 2.5 against the Raiders. They're going to right the ship. They're going to right the ship. And our Monday Night Football game. The newly acquired Odell Beckham Jr. at the 49ers, plus 4. The Niners are the home dog, over under at 49. Not sure what to expect here after how they looked against Arizona. And the Rams had a really down week last week. I'd probably side with the over on this one, honestly, because I think the 49ers defense is not what it was expected to be. They were letting up a lot of points, and that's not good against this Rams offense that has to be out to prove something this week. Down week last week, bounce back probably. I don't necessarily like the spread, but I'd lean the over 49. All right, so it's going to recap everything. This is a really short episode because it is 11:11 on 11:11. Wow. Okay. So it's time to wrap this up. All right. So as far as college goes, it was 2 units on Oklahoma minus 6.5, 1 unit on Purdue plus 21.5 at Ohio State, 1 unit on the over 56.5 in the A&M Ole Miss, and 2 units on the over 66.5 in the NC State Wake Forest. So let me get my marker here. That's 6. So 6 units in college ball. And then it is 3 units on the Colts minus 10 against the Jaguars. The Browns Eagles moneyline parlay. That's 1.5 units to win 6 at a plus 400 odds. The Bills minus 12.5 against the Jets. That's a 2-unit play. The Titans minus 2.5 against the Saints. That's a 3-unit play. The Steelers Lions over 42.5. I can't remember what unit I put on this, but I'm just going to say it's a 1-unit play. 1-unit play on Steelers Lions over 42.5. And the Chiefs minus 2.5 against the Raiders. That's a 2-unit play on the Chiefs minus 2.5. And then a 2-unit play on Carolina under 17 team points. Excuse me. So for the week, that's 6 on college, and then 3, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14.5. So it's 20.5 units we are wagering this week, guys. We are up, I believe, 37 units on the year still. We've had 2 weeks of kind of just floating around the middle, but we still haven't had a losing week in 8 weeks. So that's the goal. Don't lose, win every week, even if it's 1 or 2 units or 0.5 units, whatever it is. Don't lose, win every week. And I think we're going to do that again this week. 6 units on college, 14.5 on the NFL, 20.5 total. Keeping this episode under 30 minutes. I know it's coming out a day late, but we had the Marine Corps birthday yesterday, so Tyler and I were busy. And then late episode tonight, but it was Veterans Day. So again, thank you to all of our current veterans and for all of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you to my dad, who led me in the direction of serving in the military. I appreciate you and everything you've done for me. Thank you to my brother Dale, who served, obviously to Tyler, and to all of you guys that listen that are veterans. Enjoy your day. I hope you got some free meals. I went to Sheetz and got my car washed, a free car wash. That was probably my favorite deal of the day. And until next week, guys, check the Instagram story. We're going to be throwing stuff up there. College basketball is going. And I think that's all I've got for you. Until next week, good fortune, and we'll talk to you then.